Hey guys, it's Courtney from Willow's Bloom, where we intentionally design our life and business with the cosmos. Okay, so today is not going to be a normal video because it's more in response to what's happening right now. I didn't know if I wanted to address it just because I have my normal content schedule and I feel like everyone in the world is addressing it. But I've noticed that a lot of people are really sinking into fear and scarcity right now. And I feel like I want to address that topic in order to kind of ease your minds and help you have a more positive mindset and a way to address what we're currently dealing with. So right now, as I'm filming this, people are hoarding all the toilet paper, stocking up on canned goods, and living in pretty much desperate fear right now. And I think some of it is warranted because people are being fired and there really are depleted shelves in the grocery store. But what I want to offer to you is that this scarcity mindset will not benefit you, and you actually have a choice to choose an abundant mindset even amongst the difficulty and the negative situations. So we really have two choices in life. We can either be defined by the circumstances that we experience, or we can define ourselves within those circumstances. Regardless, the circumstance is the same. It's always neutral. However, we get to choose how we react and the way that we behave and the way that we think. And honestly, everything at the end of the day stems down to the way that you think. So I want to break down for you a really important model that I'm using every day in order to help me integrate the lessons that I'm about to teach you. So the first thing that I want to talk about is that the thought model is from self-coaching. And I think that it stems from Brooke Castillo, who's a life coach. And what you do is you write out any difficult thing that's happening in your life. You write out this whole situation in the form of a circumstance, the thought that you're having about the circumstance, the feeling, the actions that you're taking, and then the results. So I'm going to break all this down and describe to you exactly what I mean by this. So let's take this circumstance that we're currently in. So I could put in my circumstance that the stock market has dropped 12% or 12 points. I'm not really sure how the stock market works. So the stock market has dropped significantly. I think the largest drop in history. So that's a circumstance, that's a fact. But really, my thoughts about that are what make it right or wrong or bad or good or challenging or easy for me. Because one person could have that same circumstance and have the thought, oh my gosh, we're headed into a recession. Let me sell all of my stocks. And then another person could have the same circumstance and a different thought and think, actually, all these stocks are on sale. Let me go ahead and buy a bunch of stocks because I know that in 20 years, I'm going to be rich off of those stocks. So I really want you to understand that the circumstance itself is always neutral and that our thoughts about the circumstance are really what determine our lives. So we have a choice of what we want to think at this time. And I'm not saying you always have to think positive thoughts, but what I'm trying to say is that you must recognize that you have control over your thoughts, even when you don't have control over the situation. And this will give you a sense of ease in your life because everyone is freaking out right now because they feel like they don't have any control. They're losing control. They have to stay at home, they're losing their jobs, they have to watch their kids. I mean, everything around them is shutting down and they feel like they don't have control. And that's totally understandable. But the way that we think about the situation is really what determines how good or how bad we're going to feel. Because you could still lose control in all of those areas and feel fine about it. And that's why I want you to realize that you have a choice. Even if you want to choose to think something that makes you feel negative, that's okay. That's honestly okay. But I want you to at least recognize that you are making that choice and be conscious of what you're doing so that if it goes on for too long, you do have the opportunity to change that thought and have a better feeling. So let's examine the full model. So I had the circumstance that the stock market dropped. Then I had the thought that this is a wonderful time to buy stock. So because I had that thought, my feeling was that I felt really happy, or at least comfortable with the current financial situation, because I was excited to take advantage of that opportunity. So let's say like comfort and excitement. And then because of that excitement, the action I took was buying more stock, and I managed my finances in a way that came from a place of abundance rather than scarcity and hoarding and selling my stock to just sit on it. And then the results of that are that right away, maybe I don't see any change in my financial status, but 10 years from now, I have much more money. And if we look at the opposite model, the circumstance would be the same. The thought would be, oh my gosh, the economy is crashing. The feeling would be desperation and fear. And then out of fear, any decision that you make, any action that you take is always going to be negative. So what decision did I make out of fear? Well, I made the decision to sell my stocks because I felt like that's the only way I can control my money. Otherwise, I'm going to lose it. Then what do I have left? I have less money in the bank and nothing to show for it 10 years from now. So I really want you to come at the time that we're in and the season that we're approaching with possible, economic losses. I want you to approach it with the mindset of abundance, because in this channel, I love to teach you guys about business. But you're not going to start or keep growing your business if you have the mindset that we're in a recession, that no one wants to buy, that it's irresponsible to sell during, the COVID spreading around. And I think that all those things are not true. People are at home, they're wanting to have something else to focus on. And if they want to buy from you, they'll buy from you. And if not, that they won't. So it's not irresponsible. And some of the best businesses have been started during a recession. Louis Hose posted a picture, which I'm just gonna pull up really quick, of all of the businesses that were started during a recession back in 2008 and 2010. And do you think that these businesses had the mindset that they weren't gonna succeed because of that time period? Absolutely not. They just went for it, and they had the belief that their idea was worth spreading. Regardless of the time, regardless of the circumstance, you can choose your thoughts. So these businesses were Uber, Airbnb, Slack, Pinterest, WhatsApp, Square, and Venmo. These are the cornerstone businesses of our society today. And so what I want to tell you is, please go after your dreams, because now is as good a time as any to do so. No one is going to not support you just because the virus is going around. Sure, there might be some people that disagree, but there's going to be some people agree. Who cares what everyone has to say? Just live your life as you want to live it, and have positive thoughts about what your life can be. And there might be people who tell you to be more realistic or to not have those positive thoughts, but they're just projecting their negative thoughts onto you, and you have the choice whether or not you want to accept those. Because you can be at total peace with the circumstance and not resist it, and still have positive thoughts about it, or at least neutral thoughts about it. So that's another thing that I want to offer to you. Maybe it's too challenging for you to see the stock market drop and have the thought that everything is on sale and you're excited. So what can be beneficial to you is to have a neutral thought. So something that will sort of bridge the two, so you don't have to make a jump from negative to positive. And the reason why I would suggest having a neutral thought or a bridge thought is because this will benefit you if you don't believe the positive thought, because that will actually only work if you believe the thought. So again, you can use that neutral thought if it's believable to you, or at least more believable than the positive one. So a neutral thought could be something like, my money is in the stock market and it's going down, but it will go up later. Something like that. So you don't necessarily have to be excited about what's happening right now, but you recognize that what goes up must come down and what goes down must come up, sort of thing. So I just really want to illustrate again that having or choosing supportive thoughts does not mean that you're just sticking your head in the sand. It doesn't mean that you don't know what's going on, you never watch the news, you're totally out of touch with reality, and you just think positively about everything is perfect. That's absolutely not what I'm saying. If you lose your job, for example, I don't want you to just think positively and think you have a job and it's fine. What I want you to do is, yes, react to your circumstances and adjust your life in order to fit what's happening. So if you lose your job, you can adjust your spending so that you don't spend as much money. but have positive thoughts about you getting another job. And have positive thoughts about money coming and going from your life if you have to spend money. So really choose the way that you want to think about the situation in order to bring more abundance into your life. Because if you come at a job interview in total scarcity and desperation and need, they're gonna smell that from a mile away. Energy is contagious. So you really want to approach every situation in life from that abundant mindset where people are going to be magnetized and attracted to you because they know that you feel safe and secure and confident in what you offer and not desperate because you need something. So I want you guys to be very careful about the language that you choose when you're trying to speak about a situation or when you want something. I think it's really important to train ourselves to speak in a way that is attracting the life that we want rather than stating the things that we don't want. And that's because the subconscious mind is unable to process negatives. So if you say, I don't want to be fat or I don't want to be poor, actually your subconscious mind only hears, I want to be this. And so it's very important to state exactly what you want rather than what you don't want. Remember that our words cast spells and they create the life that we want to live. So just try to be very intentional with the words that you choose. And the last thing I want to address is asking questions. So we don't really know what's about to happen. We might experience a recession or hard times. And I think it can be easy to fall into the mindset where we just tell ourselves declarative sentences saying, I don't have money, I don't have enough money, I don't know how to make money, things like this. So there's probably so many times where you've looked at that and said, I don't have enough money for that. Well, there's a huge problem there because what you're telling your subconscious mind is that you don't have enough and then that's the end of the story. But in actuality, what you want to do is open up the subconscious mind to look for answers. So instead of saying, I don't have enough, you can say, I don't have enough right now. How can I get more? Ask yourself, genuinely ask yourself how you can make it happen. And this becomes super, super important in any kind of hard time, any kind of recession or downturn or whatever we're experiencing, because it makes you be more resourceful, which is the number one human characteristic of success. So if you can start to ask yourselves, how can I make this possible for me? You'll begin to find the answers in unexpected places. So I really hope that you guys take advantage of this, and I hope that this was helpful for you at this time. If it was, please don't forget to like and comment down below, and please subscribe and turn on that notification bell. But most importantly, if you think that this video would benefit any of your friends right now or any of your family, please share it with them, because I've noticed that there's so much scarcity mindset right now. And I'm really fearful that if we all as people fall into the scarcity mindset, that it becomes quite contagious and that we really will have a harder time to pull ourselves out of any recession. So thank you guys so much for staying tuned, and I hope you have a really wonderful week. Bye.